could go really well or really badly.
Hello and welcome on into this Tuesday's edition of Entertainment News here at MBE. I'd just like to thank you once again for joining us here on our YouTube channel and of course our Twitch stream. I'm one of your co-hosts, Stephen John McLaughlin. Our other co-host, the man with the finger on the pulse, it's John C. Walsh. How are you doing, John?
I'm doing splendid and tremendous, Stephen.
We did a show
Splendid and tremendous
last night where we were wearing the same clothes. We're doing it again with the same clothes. No, technically this is not Tuesday.
This is not Tuesday.
It's
this is Monday.
Yeah.
And we are editing around with the potential streaming privately.
Came into my head there, I'm like, they're going to think clatty bastards. So we're not, we're doing it all back to
You
back.
may have heard at the start, because I didn't actually mute the video,
Yeah.
the actual audio. You may have heard us saying as the stream just briefly came on, a little chatter. This is a shambles. This could go really badly.
Yeah, we're going to see how it goes. But John, we're talking about 3 topics here, but one subject.
Yes.
And it's all about RRR. The first one we're going to talk about is obviously Oscar winner Jessica Chastain reviews RRR, saying watching this film was such a party. And this is coming in from ndtv.com. And I'm just going to, very short and sweet, John, because she's put it in obviously social media and we'll get to that in a moment. Another person that's on obviously the RRR SS Rajamouli bandwagon, if you like, when it comes to probably never seen an Indian film in their lives. These people don't dedicate that much time. We certainly do, as you guys know, and we love this film.
This is good though.
Yeah.
Because this is an entry point for Westerners to come in and watch Indian entertainment,
good
movies,
content,
TV, whatever you want to call it. But as the levels have obviously fucking increased to the knowing of like guys like, I don't know, what was the director that fucking came out and spoke about this?
It was a man that worked on
Captain
America, yeah.
As the sort of awareness levels go up and these...
And your man from Doctor Strange.
Huge figures.
First director from
Scott Derrickson.
Scott, yeah.
Guys like Scott Derrickson start becoming aware.
And
because they're all ignorant over here.
Yeah.
I'm 2% Indian, as I say, so... My finger's always been on the pulse.
But John,
this is what you get. You get entry point. You get people actually starting to watch fucking brilliant Indian movies and share.
Rajamouli, John, is magnum opus. Love that phrase. RRR is unstoppable, and how after a huge success at home, the film has been making waves in Hollywood. Ram Charan and Junior NTR, or NTR Junior as we like to say,
where are you here?
Film not just garnered praise from prominent West stars but also earned spots on the long list and short list of the British Academy of Film and Television Arts, Bafta that is, and Oscars respectively. Now joining the list of Hollywood stars who were left stunned by the magic that SS Rajamouli created on the big screen with RRR is Academy Award winning actress Jessica Chastain. She's recently watched the film and liked it very much. For her it was like a party. On Friday, Jessica retweeted a post on RRR and wrote, "Watching this film was such a party. Red heart icon." FYI, RRR song Natu Natu has been shortlisted in the best original song category at the Oscars,
and it deserves it.
Fucking brilliant.
What a song it is.
But John, there's a tweet there from Jessica herself. She's retweeted it again. I think she's a fan of the film. What do you think?
I think she's a fan of the film, Stephen, and you know what, she should be a fan of the film because it is a fucking brilliant film. It's an experience, and that's what cinema should be. It should be about transforming you into another world, taking you there, forgetting all your ills and sort of earthly, I don't know, woes. Yeah, it should be a escapist sort of experience, and that's exactly what not just this movie but other Rajamouli movies are. They're escapist sort of experiences, larger than life figures doing balls to the wall crazy stuff, and it's just a blast from start to finish. And I'm glad to see figures like this are giving it their approval. Not that they need to give it their approval. We spoke about this at length with Rajamouli. He doesn't need the approval of Western folk from any walk of life, be it pricks. I keep calling us pricks.
I will say one thing though, I think we're in a better position than most people in terms of like your Western actors and directors, etc., that probably don't have the time that we do to obviously dedicate to watching, obviously, and particularly SS Rajamouli films. Bahubali, Chapter 1 and 2, beginning and conclusion, was our sort of entry point for his type of film. So in a sense we were going into that with expectations and knew what to expect in terms of tone and style and storytelling. But I have to admit, getting into that film, I probably wasn't as excited for that film as I probably was for KGF Chapter 2 at the time.
Yeah.
And it was only because that KGF Chapter 2, we've got a long connection with that film being our entry point into Indian cinema. But it took me by surprise. I don't know how you felt getting into the film, but
I knew after Bahubali
exceeded expectations though for me.
Stephen, for me, my favourite action movie from Indian cinema before this was probably Bahubali. The conclusion. Even now I can picture the scene when Mahendra finally goes and gets his revenge on Balaladeva.
Yeah.
And it's Rana Dagibati facing off against Prabhash. You've got Katapa, the bald eagle, with a chainmail, shouting Mahendra, throwing the sword. He rises through the air like a fucking eagle, a phoenix, and he strikes down on that pit. And the shot of all the ancestors and stuff like that in the actual clouds. What a moment, man. That was pure action at its absolute brilliant best. And just the fact that he went long term with the sort of storytelling. It was 2 movies, it was like 6 hours. To go from that beginning, where it's his father, the injustice, him being stabbed in the back, and going on this journey with Mahendra right to the end. I knew after watching that what Rajamouli was capable of. This is a guy that isn't scared to spend 6 hours, 3 hours in the middle part doing a flashback.
Yeah.
He's ballsy. He's different.
Structurally different.
Structurally different. Visuals off the charts. 240 frames per second, slow-mo. I knew what I was getting into Triple R. But even then it didn't prepare me.
I'm trying to get into the headspace of these actors and directors that are getting into this sort of fresh role, John, because I felt, and as you said, we've obviously experienced his movies already, so you're getting in kind of partly, with some experience.
We knew it was larger than life. It was almost like
I still loved it.
Titanic.
I still get this thrill of watching the film, as you do, and still being in awe of the filmmaking and the process and the styles, and just visually, it's a masterpiece. But when you look at Oscar winners like Jessica Chastain getting into this film, and she couldn't have been getting in with much expectation other than just word of mouth,
Yeah, but Stephen, obviously having watched the likes of KGF and loads of other Indian cinema building up to even Bahubali, we were maybe, I don't know, baptised a little bit. It was like a baptism of fire on the different styles, because you've got some really drama driven stuff that's very Western like your 96s, and I don't know, off the top of my head, Dangal's probably one, a sort of sports biopic. Very, that could be made in Hollywood, no problem. And it makes the jump.
Probably has been made in Hollywood at some sort
the
of
transition.
Change the sport, and it's the same story.
It's easy. It's an easy transition for a Western person. But going into maybe a Rajamouli movie straight off the bat, not having seen I was about to say Balaladeva again. I just like that name. Bahubali. It is a baptism of fire for some, and we've seen it with the likes of John Campea, who's a respected internet personality, YouTube personality over in the West. He's been in a CGI house doing CGI work. He's been a producer, director. He watched it, he couldn't get through 20 minutes of it, and we spoke at the time how that was quite ignorant and surprising for a guy like that, not to give it a chance. A guy who's a huge fan of comic book movies, and is quite happy to accept Captain America holding a fucking helicopter down with one hand, but he'll not accept one man going into a crowd and apprehending someone.
Motorcycle up,
it's ridiculous. He didn't even get to that scene.
No, he didn't. No,
it was just Charan's character,
taking on
Ramaraju,
all the crowd,
going through the crowd and beating the shit out of someone.
It's funny,
multiple
people's perceptions, but
for someone like Chastain, though, it should have been a baptism of fire, but she's embraced it. She's watched the movie, as you should, as a sort of party experience. But Stephen, for me, guys like Scott Derrickson and directing and producing figures, getting in and watching this, they will understand the brilliance of Rajamouli, what he's created, because they have been in the helm of a sort of directing gig, having to create their own movie, knowing how hard it is to bring all of these different pieces together, all of these different teams who are buzzing around to create a movie, CG work, set design, costume design.
You think all these sound bites coming from actors and directors, John, will help the case for Triple R when it comes to award season?
Oh, Steve, in terms of Natu Natu, for me that's the best fucking song in a movie, 2022. So that should be winning for the original song. It's a brilliant song.
It's got a good chance of winning a couple, certainly.
Has it been nominated for Oscars? Has it been pushed forward aside from the actual song for Oscars? Because we're going to speak about also the long list in the next
talking
topic.
about obviously the BAFTAs and the Golden Globes, John, and our other topics.
It's for foreign film. It should be right up there. It's a brilliant.
Well, we'll move into that now, John. We'll move into our next topic on the same subject in terms of RRR, and
but it's great.
Obviously,
it is great to see Jessica Chastain watching it. She's giving it a seal of approval.
Actor, John. Oscar winner, so she is tremendous. But we're fans of her as well. But yeah, I mean, RRR making the long list. Now, for people that don't know the long list, this is the list prior to the nomination list, so it's still got another way to go. I've got every faith it's going to make it right through to nominations.
Certainly
anyway.
For the foreign picture stuff, it should definitely be
for the BAFTAs. This is obviously I don't like when people in America say it's the British version of the Oscars. It's
the
BAFTAs.
It's
not even on the same level. It's the British Film and Television Awards. It's not just predominantly film.
But it's like he's the next Messi. No, he's not. He's the next him.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop trying to compare things.
So it says here, and again, it's coming in from NDTV. It says RRR rose again. The SS Rajamouli directed magnum opus. Is this the same thing I'm reading? Features on a freshly released long list of British Academy of Film and Television Arts, the BAFTAs, of course, in the best film for non-English category. Sean Exen's All That Breathes is another one, also made it onto the long list for the best documentary. I'm not talking about that though. But RRR makers wrote, very happy to share that RRR is on the long list of the BAFTA Film Awards. Thank you everyone. And if you just scroll down, John, look at that poster. I love that imagery.
That is a great poster.
I've seen some great posters for RRR.
You know what, I'd like to get a poster for RRR. I'd love to get the one where it's actually Ramaraju and Beam.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A sort of split. I've used it a lot in film.
Is that the one that's got the two different tones of colour?
Yeah, it's like the fire and the water. I'd need to get the poster.
Yeah, it's sort of red and blue, isn't it?
Because that logo is one of the greatest fucking logos made for a film ever. I loved that.
And
I try to recreate that.
Talking about a sequel, aren't they? For this? Yeah.
I just love everything about that poster, man. That logo is sensational.
John, the BAFTAs. I suppose where we come from, it's probably our top award, I suppose, for the arts, isn't it? It's a phenomenal achievement to get this far, and
it deserves it. It's a great movie.
It definitely does deserve it, and I think on a wider range, John, in terms of I know our obviously population is a lot smaller than the US, but I think in terms of the arts, we're very passionate in this country, talking about the United Kingdom, that is, and we talk about visuals, we talk about the spectacles,
I think
etc.
For a country of the size of the United Kingdom and perhaps Great Britain on its own, the output, the amount of incredible actors and just directors and just output of entertainment in general that comes out of this relatively small country is remarkable.
It's
when you actually break it down. Just
John,
all the incredible names that have come out.
An artistic point of view, away from the visuals and the spectacles, there is a story in there as well. Yeah, people seem to, I'm not saying they ignore it, sometimes they bypass it because of their in awe of the visuals. The visuals are something else. We can't get shy away from that. But the actual essence of the story in there, John, you've got that segment in there, I'm blanking on the actor's name.
Ajay Devgan.
Which is probably the standout
I knew what you were talking about right
away. Segment for me that sort of
the sacrifice
just adds another sort of dimension to the story. It adds heart to the story, just having that sort of flashback in there, his sacrifice, and obviously what he did for his family, but there's something about that, and you had to get someone like him in there.
Ramaraju having to kill his own father for the greater good, and how that shaped that individual right into his adulthood. He's playing the long game, revenge against the British.
So I think from a United Kingdom point of view, there's that appreciation for obviously the story in it. It's not an action film. It's not just an action film. I hate when it's tagged like that because there's more to it than that. And I think from obviously a British perspective, I think there's an appreciation there for the writing as well.
But I think that's another sort of thing that gets lost in translation from Britain or India to the West. The West, we really are anal about categorising genres. And sort of pigeonholing movies into, it has to be this. And that's why there's always a laughing joke at the Golden Globes, about these sort of less drama movies that have little comedic flourishes getting flung into the sort of comedy section of the nominations, when they're clearly very drama driven, and people think that's not a comedy. Why is that there? Because we like to pigeonhole these movies into genres, whereas in India it's more fluid. A movie can be doing 4 or 5 genres in 2.5 hours.
Is it Minari? It was that was the sort of big
it was
talking
comedy,
point,
and then there was the
foreign element to it as well.
For
the category. Again, as you said, they're very anal when it comes to that.
The Matt Damon one.
Yeah.
On Mars, fucking nominated as a best comedy.
Yeah.
Wasn't comedic at all. There was comedic elements in it, but we like to force movies over here into very specific genres, whereas in India it ain't like that.
No.
There is multiple things getting done, and I think I'm guilty of it 5 minutes ago, to be pigeonholing Rajamouli into just action does him a disservice. This guy has his own genre and his own right. The way he creates movies, his craftsmanship. Stephen, you're talking about the story, you're absolutely right. The story's brilliant in Twitter, but these two guys from two different walks of life with the same end goal, and the way that he explores these two characters on an emotive level. Yeah. The village, this guy's, and obviously Beam, his deep connection to every individual in that village, his desire to get this kid back with her mother
the
and
betrayal
family.
From the main character as well, John. There's a false friendship built up, obviously, to lead up to the betrayal. And
I think there is a real friendship there, but he reveals his identity, and then.
But then there's this obviously emotional side of the story as well, and the bond between these two characters, this connection, which is beautifully written, and it translates well as well. You talk about that, John. You talk about, Indian cinema, the way it's translated to the Western audiences. I think I can't think of another film it worked so well in, and has been well received because of how it's been translated across. It's a universal story, to be fair, but
it's freedom fighting.
Yeah,
it's tyranny, and we've seen that done before in other movies over here. Less well, I'd say, actually. Braveheart is one that springs to mind. The sort of freedom fighter rising up against a tyrannical leader, army, sort of entity, country.
Sardarudam, John.
Sardarudam's another one.
Recently.
We've seen this done very well, but this is the right sort of balancing point between mainstream action stuff going on, incredible CG, plus you've got the human story and all that interesting stuff going on under the surface. Yeah. Stephen, I says for years, man, India does the best. I mean, I can say years now because it's been about 2 years we've been watching Indian cinema.
We're technically
and
into
TV.
Years now,
Years now. They are the best on the planet at doing flashbacks and not being scared, as I said before. No. Rajamouli,
John, you talk about flashbacks. We've seen some films where a flashback can last a whole hour.
A whole hour, yeah.
We've seen it in, obviously...
Bahubali, a fucking... basically a whole act.
Whole act, yeah.
Over 2 movies as a flashback. What
was the film we saw with... I'm blanking on his name now. We compare it with Bruce Lee all the time.
Why am I blanking on his name as well? Terrible.
With Danush, yeah. Danush. That film where the flashback, it went on for quite a while, and it was so pivotal to the storytelling.
Because your man passed away, one of the actors passed away.
That's right,
from COVID, he was only in his 40s.
Yep.
He was a big part of the flashback sequence. I think he ratted them out.
There's something about the flashbacks, though, they're not designed just to sort of give it a backstory. There's a lot of reveals, and kind of changes your perception on what you've just watched previous to the flashback as well, which I think is a very clever
It adds emotional weight to the character, and you see that in RRR. The emotional weight gets added to the Ramaraju character because you're seeing him in real time, present day, the betrayal. You know that he's playing some long game with the British, but you don't know the rationale behind it. Then you see his interactions with his father in that village, what the British did to him, the decision he had to make to take his own father's life, sort of semi-suicide via a bullet. Yeah. That adds so much emotional weight. Then you realise through his partner, who's in, I think, I always want to say it's Argyle, but I don't think, is that what it's called? Where the Taj Mahal is? It's up that way anyway, I'm pretty sure. Because I'm sure I looked into it as we were watching the movie. Obviously, I'm blanking on her name as well. Terrible. She was in sort of gangster one. Why am I blanking on her name?
Yeah, I'm trying to. She was
underutilised in the movie anyway.
It was Ali Abbat. Yeah,
Ali Abbat. She reveals to Beam just what's going on with Ramaraju, and then that leads us into the final act. That's all built off flashbacks, off building emotional weight of the character. So it's so much more than action. And that's why it does deserve the hype it's getting. It deserves these nominations.
That's a confident director that can utilise veteran actors and well-known actors for very bit parts, John, just to sort of tell the story. And definitely when you have to use a certain actor for a pivotal moment in a story as well, and you have to make sure you're getting someone that's going to hit the ground running and make sure it has that impact for the limited screen time they got on. Shows that SS Rajamouli has got faith in the story, more so than the actors, if you know what I mean.
And the actors trust him.
Yeah,
they know what he's capable of at this stage.
But talking about
and
actors,
it's pan-Indian. He's got guys coming from Telugu regions, guys coming from Hindi regions up north. He's bringing them all together. He's a real pan-Indian sort of director, widely respected.
John, we're going to talk about one of the actors next, just to sort of wrap things up. And this is great news. Again, I think BAFTA's obviously, from our point of view, is our biggest sort of accolade you can get in arts. But probably next to the Academy Awards would be the Golden Globes. And Ram Charan and his wife, Upasana, fly to Los Angeles for the Golden Globes. Now, this is coming in again from NDTV. Ram Charan is all set for the international award season. The RRR actor was spotted at the Hyderabad airport with his wife
he's from here, Hyderabad. Yeah, that's where Praveen's from.
Konadela, as they left for LA to attend the Golden Globes Awards ceremony, which will be held on January 11th, which is 2 days from now, Wednesday. On her, it's tomorrow actually, because this is Tuesday, I forgot. On her Twitter handle, Upasana shared an in-flight picture of a screen, the text on which read, "Golden Globe Awards welcomes RRR." She accompanied the picture with a caption that read, "En route Los Angeles," and the hashtags RRR and RRR movie at this year's Golden Globe Awards.
Yeah, that's class, isn't it?
RRR has been nominated in 2 categories for Best Foreign Film and Films Track Natu Natu as well obviously with the BAFTAs awards category. It's obviously it's going to be in for the Golden Globes as well. But
sleek as hell, isn't he?
But yeah, it's a fantastic jacket. But
like
John, I like the screenshots his missus is obviously taken on screen. Fly Emirates, obviously.
Yeah.
But that's fantastic. Golden Globes.
If you're going to fly with Emirates, aren't you? Probably the best.
None of this is really sort of shocking news to us. This is what we were expecting from this film. The minute we watched this film, we went, they're going to be talking about this film for the next 6 to 8 months after its release, for the award ceremonies in the season of Golden Globes, Academy Awards, BAFTAs,
but I'm glad to see it's getting the
but
recognition.
It's getting there, yeah.
Because it's not just about making a great movie and it getting acclaim worldwide. It's about the actual Indian bureaucracy as well in the film regions, because you've got all these different industries having the decency to actually put the movie forward and give it a chance, a fighting chance. Because we've seen that with commenters before in the community saying the movie's great but they didn't push it. They pushed some other obscure drama driven one. So the fact that actually maybe it's just gained so much momentum that they have to fucking push it.
I think they can't ignore it, John. But you're absolutely right. We've seen it in the past. I don't know if it's for political reasons or societal reasons that they've ignored bigger films in terms of what came and what was submitted. But again, I think sometimes it's up to the studios, isn't it, to submit what they believe is.
But we know that in the Western spheres, it's all about money, money, money.
Yeah.
That's why Netflix and also most recently Apple TV Plus, they're pushing their movies, and it causes a lot of issues.
What kind of impact, John, after the awards season's finished with the Golden Globes, Academy Awards, BAFTAs? How well this does, regardless if it does win some in categories, if it doesn't, what kind of impact do you think this is going to have going forward for Indian cinema?
Stephen, it's huge for Rajamouli. If he can nab a best foreign picture, win for the BAFTAs, for the Golden Globes, somehow sneak into the Oscars and maybe get it as well, build momentum, because you know the Oscars, they're a different category of snobbiness. They will not look at anything that's not sheer drama and about a paraplegic fucking doing something. This is what they do. It's all about that. Kate Winslet joked about that in the extras back in the day. Yeah. And also she won an Oscar for it. So she knows what she's fucking talking about. But if it can nab actual wins at these huge sort of Western award shows, it'd be absolutely massive, not just for the film, but for Rajamouli. But then he's almost like a flag bearer for Indian cinema into the West. It could be absolutely massive. Yeah, for him and for the actual just multiple industries in India. Yeah, definitely. The fact this is, I think, a Telugu primarily, isn't it? It is pan-Indian, but I think he is mostly from sort of Telugu southern regions. It could be absolutely massive. Yeah, I don't know if he is. I may be talking crap here, but yeah, huge, absolutely massive. Glad to see that it's getting nominations. Glad to see there's an actual presence flying out to Los Angeles, because these guys deserve it. They're brilliant performers. They're not just actors, they're singing, dancing, all round performers. And we've been saying for years, watching these guys, in the West there's maybe 2 or 3 people capable of that. Your Hugh Jackmans, your sort of Taron Egertons.
Yeah.
There's maybe like a handful of actors can sing, can dance, can act, can do it all.
Yeah.
It's 10 a penny over in India, man. These brilliant all round performers, Telepathies, Ram Charan's, NTRs, they're everywhere, man.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
To be a success in India, you have to do it all. Well, you don't, because you've guys that are in Camp, and maybe up north. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think, who gets tanned up north, man? There's one guy who always gets absolutely destroyed for not being able to dance. there's got to be one. I can't imagine Amir Khan dancing, for instance. I can't imagine him dancing. Shah Rukh Khan, I think he can dance.
Yeah.
I've not seen him dance, but I think he can dance. But they're very, I mean, it seems to be more widespread in India, this all-round performer sort of thing, package.
Yeah.
So it's great to see these guys coming over to Hollywood and getting appreciated.
Yeah, definitely.
A new audience to tap into. And where that can lead for Rajamouli, I want to see him making fucking huge Western movies.
One thing's for sure, John, just before we wrap it up, is that our eyes are going to be absolutely focused on these 3 major events coming up, obviously with the Golden Globes, the Baftas and the Academy Awards, even more so. We are obviously going to be watching some Western stuff just to get sort of involved with these awards, but certainly from an Indian point of view even more so, because I'm willing this film to do really well in these categories, and I firmly believe it's time, and I firmly believe as well it will pick up some.
Yeah, I hope it does. It's certainly for the song, at the very, very minimum.
Yeah,
that song deserves an award.
Yeah.
Here we go, we're getting the intro again. As is usually the case. A temp intro. Short, I can't even get it off before it ends. Certainly for the song, Natu Natu is a brilliant song. The dancing sequence and stuff, that deserves it. But the film itself deserves to be fighting right up there with the very best foreign language movies in the year. Hopefully it can nab it. I'm biased. I want to see Rajamouli.
Yeah.
I want to see Triple R win, just to build on that momentum. Because he's already signed with an agency. This guy's already going to be doing it.
Yeah, he's laying the foundations.
He's laying the foundations. If he can nab a victory in one of these massive, if not all of them, that will just catapult him.
Yep.
But never forget your roots, SS, please.
Yeah.
I want to see.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Keep doing what you're doing. Don't fall prey to the sort of Hollywood traps, the pitfalls. Keep using the brilliant Indian talent in your movies. Fuck the likes of Brad Pitt who want to jump in and work with you. Don't bring him in as well, but make it work harmoniously. That's what I'm saying. But that's a tangent to end the show. What's your thoughts in this sort of triple R celebration of a show? Thoughts on Jessica Chastain speaking about it? Thoughts on it getting longlisted for the Baftas 2023? Finally, thoughts on Ram Charan and his wife, Upasana, flying out to Los Angeles for the Golden Globes. Nominations galore. Can it win? Share your thoughts down below about that and anything else you feel compelled to share. The comment section is the place to put it all. You can also like the video. If you've enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to get notifications straight to your eyeballs. And all that will leave us to say is, until the next time, me and Stephen are done. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.